Hi, this is Dr. Elizabeth Saunders Medlock of Life by Design Coaching with your life coaching tip of the week for the week of April 16th, 2012. Today I'm going to talk about something that I learned about, obsessed with the TED Talks. And one of the TED Talks I watched recently was about Dan Gilbert's research. He's a Harvard researcher on happiness, and he wrote a book, I believe in 2008 or 2006, called Stumbling into Happiness, and he talks about something called synthetic happiness. And when he started to talk about it, I realized that it had a lot to do with me and a lot to do with all the clients that I work with. What synthetic happiness is just the happiness that you get when you kind of resolve that maybe you didn't get what you want, but you're going to feel happy about what you got. And he distinguishes that from natural happiness as the happiness that's derived from getting exactly what you want. The issue is synthetic happiness and natural happiness, you feel exactly the same. Your body doesn't know the difference between the two. And he's done all this research on synthetic happiness and natural happiness. The interesting thing is he did research on lottery winners versus paraplegics a year after they had been either in an accident and been paralyzed or been lottery winners. Their happiness level was exactly the same, which is probably not what you would have predicted. And what he says is synthetic happiness is like your body's own immune system for dealing with the circumstances that you're dealt. So when you don't have choices made that you can make and you have things happen to you that are made for you, we naturally kind of have an immune system that creates happiness out of those situations. And there's all these different studies that show when you give people limited choice, like they bring home one painting, and it's the one they didn't like, they actually start to like it more because once they have it, they grow attached to it. He also found something that's also been done in other research I read in one of Malcolm Gladwell's books, is if you give people too many choices, they were doing food testing at the time, if you give people too many choices, they kind of freak out. So giving people a lot of choices, and the concept of free will and having too many choices is actually stressful a lot of times and works against the concept of synthetic happiness, in which you're kind of like, this is the circumstances I end up with and now I'm going to be happy in them. So I thought about how many people ask me about how I coped with my accident, now that I'm visually impaired, like, how are you coping with that? You're so positive. And I thought, that concept of synthetic happiness applies to me. Yes, bad things happen, but you still say, well, this is a situation I have that I'm dealt with, and I can still create happiness out of that. Dan Gilbert also goes on to say that we put too much emphasis and we kind of do too much overreacting to life, and that our body's natural immune system can handle all different sorts of stresses. And when people estimate how happy or unhappy they're going to be when major life events happen, like deaths, losing your job, people always think, oh, they're going to be catastrophic. And in the end, what he found is that people can still be happy even in the midst of all these huge major life changes. So basically, because of our prefrontal cortexes, we are wired to kind of be able to deal with it, to live with the circumstances we're given, and to create happiness, what he calls synthetic happiness, out of the situation. So this is something I'm going to use, I think, with my clients in terms of, like, it's not all that bad. You can be happy despite the things that are handed to you. And sometimes having tons of choices doesn't make you happy. What he also found, and other research has found, that it's the little daily positive experiences, those are the things that make you happier. People think more money is going to make me happy, a bigger car is going to make me happy, a huge vacation. But what they found in research is it's not those big, huge events in life that make you happy, or the big, huge destructive events that make you sad. It's the little daily positive events, just the little things every day that make you happy. And as I've talked about before, it's those little daily nuisances that really make you unhappy. So it's the little things, and not the big, huge things that we think make us happy and make us sad. So he wrote a book, Stumbling into Happiness. I'd recommend it. His talk on TED, you can also reference that. If you look into most viewed, I think it had like 3 million hits on it, and it's fascinating. So check it out. Have a good week, and I'll be back next week with your life coaching tip of the week.